Good morning, guys. Today we're going to do the second page of the study guide. We're going to get through about page 2.5, roughly, I would say. Um, First part here is number 3, which is a solution to the system of linear inequality. So they gave us 4 possible choices. We have to test these in here. So they gave us room to practice. So if we remember right, our first number here is always x and our second number is always y. So let's plug it in and see if it works with the first one. 4 is greater than 2 times 1 minus 3. 2 times 1 gives you 2, minus 3 gives you negative 1. 4 is greater than negative 1. That part's true. Let's test the second part of this. Okay. 4 is less than or equal to negative 4x, which is 4 times 1, plus 3. This gives us negative 4 plus 3, leaves us with negative 1, is not greater than, which is not true, is not greater than positive 4. So this one does not work. Try the second one. Once again, that's x, that's y. Negative 5 is greater than 2 times 0 minus 3. Gives us 0, leaves us minus 3. Negative 5 is not greater than negative 3. So we know that one does not work just from that standpoint alone. Once again, try C, x, y. 2 is greater than 2 times 5 minus 3. 2 times 5 gives us 10, minus 3 gives us 7. 2 is not greater than 7. We know that one does not work. Let's try this one now. X, y. Negative 1 is greater than 2 times negative 1 minus 3. This gives us negative 2 minus 3. Add these two together, gives you negative 5 is less than negative 1. That's true, that works. So let's test number 2 then. Negative 1 is less than or equal to negative 4 times negative 3 plus 3. 4 times 3 gives us 12. A negative times a negative gives us a positive. So 12 plus 3 gives us 15 is greater than or equal to negative 1. That works. So we know D is our possible solution to that one. Now part 4 here is asking us to write inequalities. Okay, so this is the key that I want to make sure you guys are able to do, is write inequalities. So first off, by looking at this, we should be able to tell right away from that symbol here that this is going to be greater than or equal to sign. And that's because that's a solid line. Excuse me. Our next point to look at is where does the x, or where does the line hit here on the y-axis? We can tell it hits here at negative 1. So our b, as we all remember, y equals mx plus b, which is the same as y symbol mx plus b, is the same. We know our b is our y-intercept, and that's right there where it hits on the 1, the negative 1. Now we can check to see what it's changing by. We can tell automatically it's going to be a negative sign because this is going downhill. So immediately we can put a negative sign right here and know that this is going to be something negative. So we count, let's go down first, or actually let's go, we can check and see that this is the next logical spot that it hits on the x and y axis at the same point. So we can tell we go down 1 and we're going to go right 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be negative 1/3 x minus 1 is our linear inequality. That is our function we had to write. Okay, so just from being able to read that, you should be able to get the graph from that. Once again, just to clarify, you look at what that line looks like. We know it's going to be this symbol right here. We have to next check and see where does it hit on the y-axis. It hits here at -1. We know that's what this part here is going to be. Next, we have to check and see where does it hit on the X and Y in the same exact spot. So when you look here, this spot here does not hit in a solid whole number on either the X or Y, but this spot here does. And we just count over 1, 2, 3 is always going to be our bottom. Our left, right is always going to be our bottom number. And down, up, or down will always be our top number. So now if we look at this graph, again, we check and see this symbol right here. We know it's going to be a... Oh, I'm sorry. I did not finish over here. We only know for this one, I'm sorry guys, we only know it's going to be a greater than or equal to sign. We don't know which way it's going to face yet. Okay? We have to figure that out. So what we have to do is we have to now take a number and test it. Okay? So let's just say we're going to take 0, 0 right here. Okay? 0. We're going to leave a sign blank here. Minus 1/3 x, which is 0, minus 1. Okay, this gives us 0 minus 1. And we know 0 has to be greater than or equal to. So because it's shaded, that means it works up there. So we have to do the symbol facing the Y. Okay, and the reason for that is because we can't have -1 being greater than 0, because we know right here, this number here is in the shaded area. So it means it works. So it's got to be the sign facing the Y. Going back to letter B now. We know this is going to have to be a greater than or less than symbol. Okay, again, we know that. We now know we have to look at the y-intercept, so where it hits on the y, which is right there at 4. And because it's a positive number, it's going to be plus 4. Excuse me. Next, we have to look and see. We know it's going downhill, so automatically we know it's going to be a negative. We see that it hits here on a solid 4, and then not again until right here. Okay, so now we know this. We look at this. We know it hits solid here. So we know it's got to go down 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. Okay, so once again, to see that, I went down 2, and I went over 3. Okay, so we know this is going to be negative 2/3 x plus 4. Now, once again, let's test and see where these numbers work. Okay, we got to see which way this symbol is going to be facing. And because we know the bottom part here is shaded, we just pick a number from there to see. So again, I'm going to pick 0, 0. It makes it one of the easier ones, or 1, 1 is even easier. So 0 blank negative 2/3 times 0 plus 4. Okay, so once again, this gives us 0 plus 4 blank is 0. We know that 4 is bigger than 0, so we know the sign is going to face away. Okay, because we know this whole shaded area here that I'm going to shade in pink, we know this is the area that works and makes it a true statement. That's why we picked a number, and because we know 4 is larger than 0, the symbol has to face the 4 because it worked in that problem set. So then we just turn the alligator mouth facing the other way. Okay. Now, this gets a little more interesting because they're asking you to write system of inequalities or system of equalities that match the following graph. So there's 2 in here now. So it doesn't matter which one you do, you just got to make sure you keep it the same. So one of these, we're going to make this top one going to be the solid line. It's going to be either that or that. And the bottom one is going to be either that or that. So again, we have to look right here first. And where does it hit on the y-intercept? So the top one, we're going to do the solid line first, hits right on 7. And because it's up in the positive, it's plus 7. Next, we look and see what it changes by rise over run. Right here is where it hits next on the point. And right there. So we know we're going up 1 and over to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means our function is going to be 1 over 5 x plus 7. Because we go up 1 and to the right 5. Now, because we know the number is going to work in this shaded area, let's just pick an easy number. So let's do x is 0, y is 10. Okay? X is 0, y is 10. So we write right up here, 10 blank 1/5 times 0 plus 7 leaves us with 7 blank 10. Well, we know it's a true statement. So it means anything that's shaded